So to find the mean and standard deviation of a random variable, the formulas are actually on your formula sheet. And this is the one for mean. And remember, mu was mean before, so it still indicates that to us. And then this new piece in front, this e of x, the mean now is also known as expected value. And so I think of that as a way that some nice person was trying to help me remember expected value, because E for expected value. So now, what does it stand for? Well, remember, sigma is summation, so it is a sum. And now, that x sub I, these are all of the outcomes. And the p sub I is their respective probabilities. And so they match up, they come in pairs. So you got to keep them matched up with their respective pair. So it's the sum of outcomes times their probabilities. So here's what it'll look like in the first example. Here are my outcomes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Here are their probabilities. So I want to keep each pair together. So I'm going to multiply this pair and multiply this pair and multiply this pair all the way down. So it will look like this, which is 22, 6, or approximately 3.6 repeating, 3 2/3. So let's try another one. So on this one, the grades are my outcomes. Here's the probability, so I want to pair them up. So I'll be doing 60 times 0.1 and 70 times 0.3 and 80 times 0.35 and 90 times 0.2 and 100 times 0.05. By the way, always a good idea before I begin to double check and make sure that it is legitimate and that these all add up to 1. And there's nothing funky in there like a negative or something crazy, because remember, probabilities have to be between 0 and 1. And so now, if I want to find my mean, I'm going to actually do the math for this. Now, a shortcut is to put the outcomes in list 1 and the probabilities in list 2, and then go to list 3 and do L1 times L2, and then quit out of your stat editor and find the sum of list 3. So I would encourage that. It saves work for you. And so the mean score for this class was a 78. Now, you're used to, on mean, just adding them all up and dividing by how many there are, but now they're weighted. They're turned into percentages and not counts, so I can't do that. So if I were to think of this as there were 100 grades every single time, and here 10 of them are 60 and 30 of them are 70, and 35 are 80 and 20 of them are 90s and 5 of them are 100s, then I could do that, but I'd need 10 60s and 30 70s and 35 80s and 20 90s and 5 100s, and I would have to divide by 100 numbers. This is doing the exact same thing without going to all that trouble.